Have you ever felt like your dog is staring straight into your soul, like they know something you don't? After a long day, the couch is finally yours, and you're ready to relax and enjoy a moment of peace. Then you feel the weight of those big, soulful eyes locked onto you. You glance down, and there's your dog staring so intently it feels like they might just be reading your mind. You begin to wonder if your dog is hungry, needs to go out, or is plotting world domination. Many times, dog owners assume that their dog is just looking for attention. In this video, we'll look at the real reasons your dog stares at you. From the surprising science in those soulful eyes to the hidden messages behind every gaze. Let's get right into it. Reason number 1. It all started with wolves. Before dogs became the couch-loving, belly-rub-chasing companions we know today, they lived very different lives. Their ancestors were gray wolves who moved in packs, surviving in harsh environments and relying on teamwork, instincts, and strength. In that world, a stare wasn't cute or curious. It was serious. When one wolf locked eyes with another, it was a clear warning. That kind of look was about dominance, power, and deciding who was in charge. But as some wolves began to live closer to humans, something surprising happened. Over time, they discovered that staring at us didn't lead to conflict. It led to food, warmth, and safety. Humans didn't growl or bare their teeth when looked at. Instead, we smiled, reached out, and offered scraps. And slowly, that once threatening stare began to mean something very different. In 2015, researchers in Japan studied what happens when dogs and humans look into each other's eyes. What they found was pretty surprising. Just a few minutes of shared eye contact caused both the dog and the human to release oxytocin, which is often called the love hormone. It's the same chemical that helps parents bond with their babies. But here's the interesting part. This doesn't happen when people make eye contact with hand-raised wolves. The oxytocin boost is something special that developed between dogs and humans alone. So when your dog stares at you, they're not just watching you walk around or waiting for your next move. They're connecting with you in a way that's been shaped by thousands of years of shared history. That gaze, the one that sometimes feels like it sees straight through you, is your dog's way of telling you that they love you and feel safe by your side. Reason number 2, their bonding or biting time. Learning why a dog stares at you begins with paying attention to the little things. A soft gaze, a tilted head, a loose tail, and that quiet, almost polite way of looking at you as if you've just said the most important thing in the world. That look, sometimes followed by a gentle tail wag or a long, dramatic sigh, carries the quiet weight of connection. It may seem simple, but in the world of dogs, that stare is about as personal as it gets. Back in 2009, researchers in Japan studied what happens when dogs and humans share eye contact. They found that the longer the dog and its owner looked at each other, the more oxytocin both of them released. Oxytocin is the hormone that helps mothers and babies bond. So when your dog is gazing at you with soft eyes, science says you are both basically having a small emotional moment, whether you realize it or not. On the other hand, dogs and owners who barely looked at each other had no change at all. No oxytocin, no spark, nothing. Just two roommates sharing a kitchen. But not all stars are emotional. Some are just practical. When your dog is sitting by the kitchen door, eyes locked on your every move while you're chopping vegetables, it is not daydreaming. It is waiting for something to fall. Dogs have learned that food prep time is opportunity time. Researchers who studied dogs using eye-tracking technology found that they don't just look at our faces, they follow our hands. Especially when we're near the fridge or stove. They know exactly where the action is. They have turned kitchen staring into an art form, and they are not above sitting perfectly still for 20 minutes just to see if a crumb will drop. Reason number 3, they're uncomfortable or unsure. There are times when your dog's stare does not feel warm or calm. Sometimes the eyes look sharper, the body becomes tense, and the room suddenly feels a little quieter. This type of stare is not about affection or curiosity. It is usually a sign that your dog is feeling unsure or uncomfortable with whatever is happening around them. In situations like this, your dog might show what trainers call a whale eye. This happens when your dog turns their head slightly, but keeps their eyes fixed on a person or object, making the whites of their eyes more visible. It may seem subtle, but it is one of the earlier signs that your dog is feeling anxious or even a little threatened. These kinds of signals are quiet, but they matter. They let you know that your dog needs a bit of space and some time to feel safe again. Reason number 4, their past or training is showing. Beyond simple bonding and requests, your dog's stare can reflect its personal history and current needs. Senior dogs often stare more in slow, vacant ways because their minds and bodies are changing. As vision and cognition fade with age, they may lock onto a spot on the wall or follow light patterns across the floor. This zoning out can look sad, but it's also a call for extra patience and gentle reassurance. A soft word or a calm pat can help them reorient and feel safe again. Also, rescue dogs may carry a cautious gaze when they first arrive in a new home. Their eyes watch you not from affection, but from survival. They are just trying to decide if they can trust this human at their side, and we don't blame them. In shelters, experts have said that traumatized dogs often use visual attention as a way to gauge what the human's intention is. Those wary stares will often melt into warm, relaxed gazes that show they finally feel secure if you treat them right and are consistently kind. Then there are working dogs and well-trained companions whose focused stare is part of the job. Guide dogs, for example, are trained to watch their handler's body language and respond when they need help. In a clever tube opening test at Duke University, puppies that gazed at their human when they couldn't open a container were more likely to become guide dogs, while those that tried to solve the puzzle alone were better suited for detection work. This purposeful gaze shows their desire to cooperate and please, showing just how sophisticated dogs are when it comes to using eye contact for clear communication. Reason number 5, something might be wrong. Of course, not every stare is innocent, and some stares may signal medical or behavioral issues. If your dog doesn't shift its gaze for long periods and barely responds to your voice, you may be dealing with some anxiety issues or even a neurological disorder. If your dog fails to break eye contact when you call its name or only blinks slowly, it could be suffering from a compulsive behavior that needs professional help. Besides that, staring paired with yawning, lip licking, or a hunched posture often reveals stress. These are signals for placating and are meant to calm a tense situation. More serious is the stare that comes with growling, stiff legs, or exposed teeth. That's one very clear sign of fear or aggression. In those moments, the best action is to remove the stressor and allow your dog space to calm down. Punishing it at this time is one of the worst mistakes you could make. On the health side, occasional blank stares can indicate vestibular problems or seizures, especially in older breeds. Vestibular problems are what we call issues with your dog's vestibular system. It's the part of their body that controls balance, coordination, and their sense of direction. If your dog seems to be staring at nothing, circles in place, or tilts its head unusually, you should probably have to schedule an appointment with your vet. Now that you can tell the difference between a loving look and a stressed or uneasy stare, you're in a better position to give your dog what they truly need. Your dog's gaze is always trying to tell you something, and the more you pay attention, the more you'll understand. If you've learned something new, your dog probably wants you to keep going, so don't stop here. Click on our next video on the screen to learn 8 things you should never do when you leave your dog alone.